It's the starting lineup. Kip Keefer, Tony Curry, the legend, and Case Keefer bring it every week.
The coaches don't like what's going on.
Fellas, wow. Congratulations.
Weather is of universal appeal. It affects you and everybody watching.
Because you're real, legend. You're authentic. You've lived it.
You never know who's going to be in the starting lineup.
The starting lineup, 10:30 to 11 on ABC 3340 every Saturday morning. Welcome back to the starting lineup along with Kip Keefer. I'm Tony Curry. It is time for the madness, my friend.
Let's do it. Final Four.
The Final Four is here. Of course, we got the two big ball games going on a little bit later on today. Duke and Houston and Auburn and Florida. And a couple of things to think about. Everyone's been talking about the chalk this year. 60 games so far played in March Madness. The favorites, 48-12 straight up. Teams favored by 6 or more points are 31-0.
Oh my gosh!
Straight up.
That's an astounding stat.
So teams favored by 6 or more points, and of course you got the Duke Blue Devils, which open up I think about 4 and is up to 5.5 now. And of course the Auburn Tigers catching 2.5 coming up in these two monster ball games. The championship coming up on Monday. I'm so happy too because I picked all 4 number 1 seeds, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's really tough there,
and
big
I
boy."
sat here and told you that'll never happen.
And I said, you know what? It's better to be boring and right than exciting and wrong. And of course, the last time we had all 4 1 seeds, 2008. They played at the Alamo Dome, which is
I have to brag on my partner here on the ESPN Bracket Challenge. Tony is in the top 95 percentile.
I am, yeah. It's so we'll see what happens. But I've got my brackets picked, and I'm going to stick. You know, at this point, despite the fact that we've seen each team play 4 games, you could easily go away from your bracket, and I'm going to stick with what I got. I got Florida, I got Duke in the national championship game, and I've got the Blue Devils taking home the hardware coming up on Monday night. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I had to represent with my SEC shirt here because we've got 2 of the 4 from the SEC.
Kind of a shame they're playing each other, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you know, and you look at the women's tournament, same thing. Texas and South Carolina played the first game. So I'm not going to suggest that the brackets were maneuvered a little bit, but the SEC. But the good thing about that is one of those teams is guaranteed to be in the championship game. So there's a bright side to that. But you know, it would be kind of fun to see an SEC matchup. But the bottom line is these teams, played earlier in the year a couple of times. Well, actually, this matchup, I think they only played the once at Auburn. That's right.
Florida,
I was thinking about Tennessee. Auburn played Florida once. Florida came to Auburn when Auburn was really dominating everybody and shocked them. In that game, so
gave up a 90 spot, and it was the 9-point victory did not do justice for how bad Florida beat Auburn.
Yeah, I mean that was just like Florida going to Tuscaloosa and taking down Alabama a couple weeks later. This team is really dangerous when all the cogs are working. Now sometimes they don't have as good a shooting nights as they've had in some of their better performances, and that's when they're a little vulnerable. But this team, you know, they always say great guard play wins championships in the NCAA. They've got 3 exceptional guards, Martin, Clayton, and Richard. All those guys can play big time.
Of the 4 teams playing Duke, Houston, Florida, Auburn, do you want to name the team that's got the best ATS?
That's a good question. I would say in the tournament or on the season?
On the season.
I would say probably Florida.
You would probably be right. They're all above 500, by the way. Duke 25-13 against the spread. Houston 20-17. Auburn 20-16-1, and the Florida Gators 27-11 against the spread this year. And again, you're talking about a Florida squad that they get so many second and third shots. Their 6th Final Four, and something else I think is interesting too. That line, I think a lot of people thought that line would go up from 2.5. It stayed at 2.5. The over/under it's bobbed all the way down 5 points to 159.5. So It opened up at 164. So that's something to be looked at. We'll have some plays, and of course we're going to be going out to the desert, chalking a case a little bit and getting some of his plays and some futures and some stuff on the Masters as well. But I think for the first time in a long time, I really feel like I love Cinderellas, and I think Cinderellas are fun. What we found out over the last 5 years, anyway, they were looking at some television numbers. When we have Cinderellas, the ratings aren't nearly as good as they are when we have the 1 and 2 seeds. We sit there and we say we love the Cinderellas, but do we really want to see Loyola Chicago in a Final Four? No. We want to see the big dogs. We want to see the Blue Bloods, and we're getting it this year.
Well, let's give the other 2 teams that aren't in the SEC their due. Houston and Duke have been methodical machines through this tournament, and through the entire regular season, basically. Alabama fans, I know, were disappointed that the Tide didn't get back to the Final Four, but running into Duke was a really tough draw in their bracket. Tony, I got to tell you, I've seen Duke several times this year, but I think right now they are well-oiled machine to the maximum extent. This team is so well prepared and so precision. They are an impressive unit to watch play. And Houston, you can make the same declaration. That's going to be one hell of a game.
Coach Shire has turned into be just one heck of a coach.
Man.
I think a lot of us would have said, why you want to fill those shoes of Coach K? No one wants to take that gig. Well, guess what? Coach Shire is doing a fantastic job. Kansas, Kentucky, Clemson, the 3 games that Duke lost earlier in the year, they couldn't get to 72 points. That's kind of their number. If you see Duke at 72, good shot they're going to win. Something else I think is really interesting. Everyone's talking about the best offense in Duke and the best defense in Houston. What they're not talking about is Duke's number 7 defensively speaking as well, when you're talking about points efficiency per ball game. So Duke's got the number 1 offense and the number 7 defense. So Houston's going to have to play well. And I'll say this too, and listen, we saw it again with the Texas Tech game the other night when they were up by 9 with 3 minutes left, 6 twice. They were at the front and 1-1. They missed those. Free throws will kill you.
Yes.
And the one thing that Houston does not do well is, number 1, they don't get to the line about half as much as their competitors do. They don't drive the lane a lot. And second of all, they don't shoot well from the charity line. So if it gets down to one of those nitty-gritty games where we're fouling to make the game go a little longer, that's where Houston get bitten. But you're talking about a team as well as 3 or 4 games all year long, and they're catching 5.5. That should tell you just how good Duke is.
Well, I mean, I can, off the top of my head, mention 5 championship games over the years in the March Madness where the difference was one of the teams could not make their free throws.
Yep.
It's such an elementary part of the game, but it's huge. And then you look at Duke with this Knickel, who all you hear about is Cooper Flagg, but Knickel, every time he gets to the line, Tony, he not only makes all of them, it doesn't touch iron.
No.
I've never seen a guy just so routinely he shot 93%. I'd like to see the footage of the ones he missed. I don't believe he missed any, because down the stretch in games, that guy is as automatic as I've ever seen.
He's fantastic. To go back to in the Auburn, Florida game too, and again, the SEC taking up half the field every single way. The SEC's ahead at least half the teams in the round of 32, the round of 16, the round of 4. And I said this, I went up to Rupp Arena to see the Auburn Tigers play. Janai Broom, who's unequivocally one of the best basketball players I've ever seen, he quietly gets a double-double every single night. Sometimes in the first half, I'll go, boy, it doesn't seem like the ball's going through him very much, and he'll have 18 and 16.
Yeah,
it's just
amazing.
unbelievable. Something tells me something's not right with him. I don't think he's 100% healthy.
I think he's really banged up.
I think he's really banged up too. I think the season's been really long, and I don't think, just his characteristics, his body movements, I don't think I'd say probably 75, 80%. I think that may be where he gets hurt. Now you're sitting there and say, well, they went to the post 5 of the first 6 offensive plays last game, and of course he sank 4 of the shots.
He's the
Started
guy.
fantastic, you really do, but I really think he's not 100%. And of course, they've already been beaten by Florida once this year, so we'll see what happens that game. But I think everything has to go through him.
You remember late in that game, he went down and slammed his elbow into the court, and by his reaction, I think he thought it was fractured.
Yeah, he went straight to the locker room.
He told Bruce Pearl, I'm done, and they took him to the locker room, and all of a sudden here he comes running back out.
And they're up by 10, they put him back in.
And he makes a 3. He's not a 3-point shooter, but I think this guy, anybody who loves football because it's a contact sport, take a look at basketball down there in the key. Man, I'll tell you what, Janai Broom gives out a beating and takes a beating every single game. I think he's just really hurting in a lot of different areas, but he's such a warrior. He keeps showing up and doing, like you say, he's got a double-double every game.
The Legend Cave, we're going to go there in a few minutes. Also, Case out there, of course, the executive director and editor of the Las Vegas Sun, does a fantastic segment. He's got some futures for us. I know what he likes in March Madness, and when we wrap up our show at the end, we'll give our big plays because we went on fire. K4wins.com, K4wins.com is our website. By the way, you can go check it out. It's free. You can subscribe to it. All of our plays up. We're hitting 68% of the year, so check it out. And welcome back to the starting lineup.
The Birmingham Racecourse Casino, where a spin could turn dreams into reality. Meet Sammy F., who just won over $70,000. And Orlando P., hitting the jackpot with a whopping $100,000. Feel the thrill of winning and join the Dance of Champions.
Woo! I'm a winner! I'm a winner! Woo! I'm a winner! I'm a winner! Woo! And you can be a winner too!
Your chance to be the next big winner is here at the Birmingham Racecourse Casino.
Oh, welcome to the Legend Cave. Monty Bauer with the great pass. It's an honor to be hanging out with great friends today. The great Joe O'Neill in the studio here with us. He's still sad about Florida State last year. My great friend, but he's a Dodger fan, so he's doing all right in baseball, ain't he?
He's going to go home 62-0, which is will work out to like $10 million per player for win for the year, because I think their payroll's like
$8
$300
billion or something like that. Oh, you gotta hate it. You gotta hate it.
Everybody that comes off the bench or out of the bullpen, I said, how do they have him too?
I know, they got every all-star in the league. And I'm sorry about mentioning baseball. I forgot you was a Brave fan.
It's pretty sad after the first week the season's basically over. But
it's Final Four weekend, baby, but we love baseball too. Me and Kipper, we football, baseball, basketball, you name it, swimming. I mean, golf. I even like golf every now and then.
Don't forget my NHL
Oh,
hockey.
yeah, I mean, we all over the place, but it's Final Four weekend, and I hear you, man. Alabama ain't in it. Well, that's what happens, ladies and gentlemen. We went up against Duke, and I want to tell you something. This Duke team looked like that Syracuse team years ago when they had Warwick and them guys. They looked like they're about 12 foot long. They look like some gladiators out there playing against Alabama. What'd you think of that game, Kipper?
They just don't make mistakes, and Alabama plays kind of a frenzied style that's designed to get teams not in the right place. You look at the BYU game where they made 25 threes. That was unbelievable. But a lot of that was because they were beating BYU back down the floor. I've always had the philosophy in basketball that if you move quickly and don't let the defense even get set up to start with, it's so much easier to be successful. But that didn't work against Duke because they were prepared for that. And this is a team that never is in the wrong place. I am so impressed with what John Shire has done, because, you're not the man who wants to follow the man. And I would say Coach K was the man.
Yes.
And John Shire has not missed a beat. He's like Coach K Jr. Duke is impressive.
Yeah, so we learned something about Alabama. Our 6-foot guards is not going to win us a national championship.
Yeah.
We need some 6'3" and 6'4" guards. And I have an announcement. Raylan Griffin, yes, played with Kansas this year, played with Alabama 2 years ago, 6'5". He's headed back to Tuscaloosa. Also word today that Sam Waters that played with Alabama 2 years ago, the left-hander from right here in Homewood, Alabama, he's coming back to Alabama, big 6'9" forward. So Nate Oates is busy. Let's get rid of them 5'10", 5'5" guys, Nate Oates, and do like Duke and get some 6'6" guys. And let's talk about the Florida Gators and Auburn Tigers right quick.
Oh, man.
What do you think, Kipper?
I just was going to contemplate what I was going to pick. Florida got the better of them earlier in the year, and it was a big surprise because Auburn was on a roll at the time. I kind of think they're going to learn a lot from that game. I just think Bruce Pearl's team's been sort of that team of destiny all year. They've occupied the number 1 spot a lot. I think they turned the tables. A lot of people are picking Florida, and deservedly so. They've looked great, but I'm going to go with Auburn.
What Bear? Kick him out! Kick him out!
I'm sorry.
What Bear said kick him out!
Well, you don't like
kick it over in the Legend
Bear,
game!
What's
going on here?
Come on, Bear. You don't like Florida either.
I hate to go against my main man, Kip Keefer, but I'm going with the Gators. I got Gators and Duke going to the final, and I hated SEC folks. I wish I could say something better, but man, I think Duke cuts it down on Monday night. You gotta hate it, you gotta love it. It's just sports. Kipper, I love you, dude. The shows keep on rolling. We're gonna be here all summer doing it big right here in the Legend Cave. Remember, it's just a game. Don't be like Kip and the Legend.
Sports insane.
Talk to my good friend Stuart Rome, who you've seen in the studio here in the starting lineup. He owns the Woodhouse Day Spa, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. They've got, of course, a wedding season coming up. We've got prom season coming up. We've got summertime. We got
Mother's
beaches,
Day.
Mother's Day. You got Father's Day. People are trying to make their toes and their fingers look good and their faces and everything. Go to the Woodhouse Day Spa. Get pampered up. It's not a luxury. It's something you have to do. birmingham.woodhousespas.com, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. And our good friends, we had an alligator on your lap.
People are still seeing that on YouTube.
We had a ferret in your pants.
It just pops up randomly all over the country.
Seth Cosby, my good friend at Ed's Pet World. Ed's is officially closing.
Oh, my.
So they're going to be done, but he's putting all his effort into this fantastic place called Sasquatch Toys and Comics. It's down there in Homewood. I just got off the phone with him right before we started our show today. He is blowing the doors off, everything from Legos, Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, stuff still in the boxes, cards, games, of course, comics in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. He goes all over the country to get the best stuff. Heck, even Legend got himself an Evil Knievel thing, one of those wind-up deals for 40
not the
bucks.
motorcycle,
Yeah,
right?
not the motorcycle, no.
That's just
But
what he needs.
He got himself an Evil Knievel toy. So they got everything down there at Sasquatch Toys and Comics, so check it out. The other thing we're really into, man, and it's just, if you have not been on it, you need to go check it out. It's free, k4wins.com. Tell people about our site.
We started this enterprise, not really an enterprise, it's more of a service because it's completely free. You can log on to K4Wins and get all of our picks on a daily basis. And it's Tony and I and Case Keefer and Kai Gregory from Southern Precision Staffing who came on this show and went 9-0 in a guest segment on football back in the season. But we have just been on a phenomenal roll giving you games against the spread, and we cover the whole spectrum. NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, all this college hoops. We're going to have all kinds of great information, but we're picking at close to a 70% clip, which is unheard of.
No, it's unbelievable. He's got a great place, Southern Precision Staffing. You ring up 205-682-2828, where all your staffing needs, your hand, your shake.
I like when you say if your staff is banged up, that's who you call.
If your staff is banged up, you call Southern Precision Staffing, 205-682-2828. I've never been part of something. Obviously, I'm not the greatest handicap in the world. It's really made me work harder because you've been on fire in the SEC. Kai plays both sides. He's been fantastic. And, of course, we got the best, our cornerstone, if you will, in Case, your son. It's been a privilege to see you guys hitting at the clip you're hitting at. It's been amazing. So if you want to make some extra money, if you've been part of March Madness, we've been hitting 69% in March Madness alone. K4wins.com. Check out K4wins.com. We do a podcast every single week. It comes up right around Friday afternoon.
It's on the TKR network.
It is. So check out K4wins.com.
Hey, it's Case Keefer back here again for another edition of the Vegas Heaters. I'm the sports editor and writer for Greenspun Media Group, which includes Las Vegas Sun and Las Vegas Weekly, longtime sports bettor and sports betting writer. This is the first Vegas Heater in several weeks. As you know, we did things a little bit differently to accommodate for the NCAA tournament. I'm going to touch a little bit on the two Final Four games at the end, give my quick thoughts, but I know the whole rest of the show is going to be devoted to that, and those guys have you covered. Here in Vegas Heaters, we like to touch on a little bit of everything, so I thought since we haven't been around for a while, this would be a good chance to play catch up. And don't fret that the NCAA tournament is almost over. It always hurts. Biggest betting event of the year in totality, but we have the NBA playoffs coming up. We have the NHL playoffs. And if you followed what we said here from the beginning of the year, you should be sitting on good futures positions, especially in the NBA, where on the eve of the season, I gave out Boston, Oklahoma City title exact matchup at 16-1. I don't want to jinx it, and I guess I should be knocking on wood here. Usually it doesn't end up this way when you have two dominant teams. One of them falls in the playoffs, but I would be absolutely shocked, barring injury, if it's not Celtics Thunder in the title. These two teams, I think, are leaps and bounds above everyone. The Cavs have had a great year, and from an efficiency, from a metric standpoint, right with the Celtics, but I think the Celtics have another level. They've been resting up. I think we're going to get to that one. You should also enjoy that Shea Gilgeous-Alexander MVP bet we gave out at the beginning of the year. That looks like it is flying in as well. The NHL, a little more sketchy. The two teams I was building around all year, said it on the show many times, were the Edmonton Oilers and the Carolina Hurricanes. I still like them. I think they haven't lived up to their potential in the regular season. Maybe that's good for you. You can kind of get in on them now at basically the same price as I got, maybe a little bit worse. I think the East, it's ultimately going to be Carolina, Florida, or Tampa. I know Washington has been a tremendous story, but I don't think they have a higher level. I think they've gone all out for the regular season. I don't think personnel-wise they really match up with those teams. And Toronto, even though it looks like they're going to win the division, kind of the same story there. So I like Carolina, Florida, or Tampa Bay. We'll see if Florida can get healthy. The West is where I think maybe you could go against me and take some long shots. Don't just go with Edmonton. Edmonton, it looks like, is going to be going to the Kings in the first round. That's going to be awfully tough. The Kings have like some voodoo magic at home and never lose there, although the Oilers own them in the playoffs. We'll see how that goes. However, then if the Oilers get by them, maybe you have to play the Golden Knights, who conversely seem to have a hold over the Oilers in the playoffs, so that should be fascinating. But why I say maybe some long shots, look at the wild cards right now are going to be the Wild and the Blues. The Blues at the time of recording have won 10 straight games. They're playing better than anyone. The Wild, meanwhile, at the beginning of the year, looked like a Stanley Cup contender, one of the best teams. Lost their two best players, Kirill Kaprizov and Joel Eriksson Ek. Now look like they're going to be back for the playoffs. they could make a run. There is no easy out in the West. So the West is kind of where I feel like you could say whoever you want. I mean, Winnipeg has one of the best goalie seasons ever in Connor Hellebuck. So the West is going to be a whole lot of fun. But now I've got off on a tangent. What I really wanted to talk about here was just as big of an event, if not bigger for me, next week. This will be the last time we can talk about it after the NCAA tournament. The Masters finally coming. We've been working on this for weeks, building up our portfolio here. I believe I gave out 4 golfers here. Rory McIlroy at 14-1, a great price, because now you can see him as low as 5-1. Looks like the best golfer in the world right now. Ludwig Oberg, I believe we gave out at 16-1 on this show, maybe only 15-1. You'd have to look back in the archives for that. Justin Thomas at 40-1, Victor Hovland at 30-1. Now, last time I updated this, I said Hovland was the one that doesn't look good. Well, he's won since then, so it looks like he's a little bit back on form. I really think he matches up well with Augusta National. So all of a sudden, I kind of like that price as well. Justin Thomas, the only one of that group who hasn't won yet. I still think 40-1. I think the guy has the game to ultimately conquer Augusta National one of these years. I love the 40-1. Oberg's the one I'm kind of iffy on right now at 15-1 or 16-1 or whatever I gave out on the show. I think I made 2 bets myself, so I kind of have plus 1550 in total. He's won an event, but I don't know. I feel like he's not quite on the form he was last year when he made that run to get it. My intention here was to come in and give out another play on the Masters, but I got to tell you, I dug through every sports book, and I'm not going to force anything, and I can't quite find the right price. So I guess for right now, for at least for the starting lineup purposes, we're going to roll with those 4. Some guys I got close on. Liv is in Doral this week. I really expect John Rahm or Bryson DeChambeau to win that tournament. I know that's pretty top-heavy, pretty chalky, but I bet John Rahm 7-1, Bryson DeChambeau 10-1. So I wanted to see both their prices in the Masters. Rahm, I was closer on, 18-1. Of course, he wins 2 years ago. I still think he's one of the best players in the world. Just not really getting credit for it, as he doesn't have the wins on Live as much as you would think, but he's in the picture every week on a stroke-by-stroke basis. The guy is unbelievable. DeChambeau, I kind of feel like I might be fading. I especially hope in the Masters. I hope he wins this week at Doral, maybe get some even better prices. Last year, to give you perspective, Bryson DeChambeau was the final guy on my Masters card at 85-1. His game was kind of lost going into the 2024 season, but I do think he matches well with Augusta, and just nobody else has his driving distance. But 85-1 to 18-1, I know he's had a good year. I know he's back on form, but that's too much for me. I wish it wasn't just the outright winner that's posted so far in advance. I wish it was top Live, because I would be targeting John Rahm definitely over Bryson DeChambeau in that market. So I kind of roundaboutly told you who I like on the Live Tour this week, DeChambeau and Rahm. Not so chalky as far as the Valero Texas Open, the last tune-up for the Masters. Thought I could, I know that it's already going to be in play now, but some guys I like. There's probably about 8 guys at the top of the odds board. I did fire on 2 of them, and they're 2 former winners here. 3 former winners technically, because Corey Connors won twice. So I bet Corey Connors at 18-1 and Akshay Bhatia at 25-1. Course history really sticky at this event. You're not always going to see me be a big course history guy. I'm more about form. I think we can get carried away with the sample sizes there, but I like those 2 guys along with some long shots. As far as the Final Four, let's get it. Auburn, Florida. I don't have a bet on this game, but it'd have to be Auburn or pass for me. They were an 11-point favorite at home ahead of losing to Florida. How often do you see a 13.5-point flip in season at a neutral site, not even with Florida at home? So that's crazy to me. Auburn, if anyone's beating Duke, I think it's Houston. I still would pick Duke outright, but 5 is too many points. Give me Houston plus 5. So I guess I'm going with both the underdogs tonight in San Antonio. Thanks for checking out another edition of the Vegas Heaters.
All right, my man, let's make some cash. We
do
got some
it.
picks here. We heard from Case, the legend as well. Who do you like? And, of course, our Final Four going off today. And, of course, the National Championship game coming up on Monday from the Alamo Dome.
That's correct. This is an unusual year. I'll be watching it in my quarters here in Birmingham. Last year I was at the Final Four in Phoenix. Remember, I did a quick report from the scene last year where we watched the Tide and Connecticut in a real good effort by Alabama, but they came up a little short. They're not there this year, but Auburn from in-state is, and I'm real intrigued. We saw Case Keefer just a moment ago from Vegas. Of the 4 teams, Tony, he's got 3 of them in futures bets that he made almost a year ago.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
You know, it's one thing that that a lot of people probably wouldn't be interested in, because a lot of people that want to wager on games want that instant gratification of knowing the result after a 2-hour period.
It's pretty nice a year later picking up a grand, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and he has just made a cottage industry out of hitting these futures where he shops for odds, way back, the first of last year for this, it's at the end of last season. So he's got three of the four. If Florida wins, he's out of business on the futures. He's got Houston, Duke, and Auburn in futures bets. So I'll be rooting for him and keep the cash in the family. He doesn't give me any, but that's okay. The cool thing today is for your picks, you got two SEC teams. I said it in the open. That guarantees one of them is going to be in the finals. We're going to have an SEC team playing for the championship. Last year with Alabama getting knocked out, we didn't have that. It was UConn and Purdue. By the way, there's no Big Ten teams in the Final Four.
Again, yeah, thank you very much.
Keep the hate mail coming, folks. Then I know I'm doing a good job talking about my disdain for the Big Ten. So we've got an ACC, we've got a Big 12, and two SECs. I'm going to go kind of with a homer pick here. Case needs Auburn to win to knock Florida out, and I think Auburn is going to learn a lot from the game that they surprisingly lost at home. I like the Tigers here. I think they've been kind of the team of destiny all year. I think they get it done. And the other game, Houston and Duke, what an intriguing game. I think Houston has got veteran presence, and they started off losing 2 of their first 3. They've only lost 1 since then in like 30 games. So neither of these teams are really accustomed to losing. But Duke impressed me so much in that Alabama game.
They're an absolute machine right now. They're playing the best, and that's why the odds for them to win a national title are the best of the 4 teams left. So
I'm going to go Duke Auburn in the finals. I'm going to go point wise there.
I mentioned that Florida has the best ATS, 27-11 of the 4 teams remaining. Their over/unders 27-11 on their over/unders. The Florida Gators have been scoring a ton of points this year. They've already beaten Auburn once. They beat them by 9. They should have beaten them by 20. Everything's pointing to Florida, and that's why I'm taking the Florida Gators.
Yep.
And just to make sure, I'm going to take money line. I did money line games this past week. I'm kind of done. I got bitten a couple times against the spread, so I'm just going to take them to win the game outright. You do the -2.5, whatever you want. And I mentioned 72 for that Duke squad. 3 of their 4 losses, where they didn't score 72 points. They get to 72, they're going to go. So I'm going to take Duke's team total over. I'm also going to take Duke on the money line and take them straight up. And I do like the game to go under the total. So I'm going to take Duke's team over, but I don't like the under, which means Houston's not going to score. It's 135.5. Probably drop to 135. So I'm going to take the under in that game. I think Duke, again, you got the best defense in Houston, but Duke's the 7th best defense. So you're going to be beating each other up. It's going to be just a slobber knocker down in the box. So I like Duke to win that game, maybe 65-55, something like that. So we'll get after it, and then we'll get ready coming up on Monday for Monday night. It's going to be unbelievable.
Sounds great. And going forward, we'll have baseball to talk about, which is exciting. The Major League season has begun. SEC baseball, you've got the top 3 teams in the country, 1, 2, 3, Tennessee, Arkansas, and Georgia. And I think out of the top 25, 12 of them, half of them are from the SEC. So we may see an all SEC
pretty much the SEC half of everything is done now in college sports, which we absolutely love. All right, check us out again next week. We're on every single Saturday morning, 10:30, 11 o'clock right now for the starting lineup. God bless and have yourself a wonderful weekend and enjoy your Mets.
Enjoy the Final Four, everybody.